And hello again, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name's Tom, and I'm a marketing executive for the University of Liverpool's online programs. I'm just going to give a brief overview of the webinar and the university before I pass on to our speakers. Just to note that if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, then feel free to input them into the Q&A section on your screen, and we'll do our best to answer those at the end. Okay, so introducing our speakers, today we're joined by Dr. Jennifer Davis, who is Director of Studies for the Project Management course, and Courtney Vickers, who is an admissions advisor. Today we'll be covering the Project Management programme, and then we'll move on to the admissions and enrolment process, and then have a live Q&A at the end of the presentation. Oh, apologies. So just a bit about the university. The University of Liverpool is a well-respected university. It's a founder member of the Russell Group, which is a group representing the top 24 universities in the UK and has strengths in many areas, including health, computer science and management. The university has a significant number of international students, many of which are online, and is associated with 9 Nobel laureates, as well as being ranked in the top 200 universities worldwide. The university has been delivering online programs since the year 2000. The online master's programs offered by the university are designed to work around you as a part-time postgraduate student, and also likely an international student, although we do have many UK-based students who take our courses too. You will have the opportunity to engage with materials in your own time through the virtual learning environment. There are some live sessions, but they are usually not compulsory for you, although they are a good opportunity for you to engage with other students in those sessions. We have a strong student community and try to ensure that our online students have a good level of engagement with their fellow students and teaching staff. The course materials are developed by staff and are designed for the online environment, and our programs are much more than just a reading list. They are interactive and they are challenging, but there is also a high level of support from academics and our student support team to ensure that students are successful in their studies. Students who successfully complete their studies will graduate from the University of Liverpool and are awarded a Liverpool postgraduate degree certificate, just the same as students who take similar programs on campus. And with that, I will now hand over to Jennifer, who will talk about the programs we offer. Over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you very much. So I guess, first of all, you're probably thinking, why should one study project management? Hopefully I will be able to convince you of why you should do that today. It's an incredibly versatile discipline. It's hard to imagine an industry that doesn't need project managers. So whether you have a clear idea of exactly what industry you want to head into, whether at the moment you're still a little bit uncertain about what industry you might like to work in, I think project management is a great discipline for that, because it sort of transcends industries in a way. And it also gives you then a lot of flexibility throughout your career. I think in this day and age, we do see people changing industries, changing careers. And I think, you know, having that project management master's is such a great transferable qualification. On top of that, it's a really, really in-demand skill. I mean, you just need to do a quick bit of Googling. You know, if you put in things like project management and Forbes, for example, you know, the headline, 25 million project managers in demand, as median salaries soar to over $120,000. And that's just the median salary. So it's a really highly in-demand skill. So I think Forbes and McKinsey have both put it in the top 3 most in-demand skills. And I think McKinsey said it's one of the fastest growing in terms of the demand for that particular skill. So people with those qualifications are really in a really good position. The other reason I think it's a good investment in terms of education, and this cannot be said for all disciplines, I think it's very AI proof. There's been a lot of discussion in the sector about whether AI is going to replace the project manager, and the conclusion at the moment is firmly that it will not. However, I am very pro AI, so I think, you know, my stance on it is that a project manager who is well versed with, you know, artificial intelligence skills will be in a better, more competitive position in the jobs market than a project manager who is not. So that's my sort of big pitch on project management. But to give you a bit more information about the management school and our program in more detail. So developed by leading academics at the University of Liverpool's Management School. You can see our Triple Crown accreditation, which puts us, I think, in the top 5% of management schools in the world. And as you can see here, this program has been designed to equip you with the right tools and technologies to support decision making and ensure timely delivery of project objectives. It very much mirrors our on-campus program, but the online option obviously gives people much more flexibility. You can study from wherever you are in the world. You can study around existing work commitments. So I think it's a great option if you're looking for that flexibility. But it is the program is designed by all of our on-campus professors. So we have, really highly published, well-regarded scholars in this field, including Professor Carl Gavin, who has just joined our team, and he's actually the new lead editor for the Association of Project Management Body of Knowledge. So we really do have people who are at the cutting edge of project management as a discipline, designing the materials. So the program is designed to facilitate the development of technical competence in areas including risk management, monitoring and control of projects, and procurement, as well as a core understanding of operations management principles, which can plague project delivery and really make or break. So the program is accredited by the Association of Project Management. So some of you might be aware of the PMQ qualifications that APM offer. We are also working towards ensuring that the program is an APM recognized assessment. And what that means is that when you graduate from our degree program, you should then theoretically tick off the technical requirement for your chartered project professional status. So that's work in progress at the moment, but what we do have in place currently, which was confirmed this past academic year, is APM accreditation. So it essentially proves that the program meets the highest standards that the Association of Project Management respects and advocates for. They are the only associated body for project management that carries that royal chartership. So we're very honoured to be aligned with APM, and hopefully it gives you confidence that you're coming and you're learning the best sort of practice for the industry, well, for various industries, but for project management as a sort of sector. All right, so required modules, 15 credits each. So we've got contemporary project management, risk and uncertainty in project planning, portfolio, program and project execution, leading and managing project teams, strategic procurement management, supply chain operations management, finance and data analysis for managers, and research methods. And then finally, we have the dissertation, which is worth 60 credits. And one of the things that our program was commended for by APM was the holistic approach we take to project management. So as it said on the first slide, we really do make a point of ensuring that people who graduate from our program have a clear understanding of how project management interfaces with different business functions, particularly operations management, procurement and purchasing, those types of things, super, super important. And also, having a solid grasp of finance is important for any project manager. In terms of the format, so we have lecture casts. Again, you can watch these in your own time, very sort of engaging ways, which brings the lecture content to life. Of course, you will then have readings that you need to do. So there is private study time, of course, as with any course involved. There are practical activities, including opportunities for you to engage with discussions, which I think students really appreciate, because it can obviously sometimes potentially feel quite isolating doing an online program. But I think the practical activities really foster that sense of community. So even though you might be studying remotely from all different parts of the world, there are activities which give you an opportunity to engage with your fellow students and feel very much like part of a community, to replicate that sort of on-campus feel as much as possible. There are blogs and quizzes and tests as well. So lots of different methods of reinforcing that learning and making sure that it's all that knowledge is really going in. I sort of covered this briefly, but yeah, the Triple Crown accreditation, so a CSB, Amber and Equus means that we are gold standard triple accreditation holders. Our vision is to be a globally connected management school with our transformative research and teaching, placing us at the forefront of influential knowledge leadership. So we have, particularly in our department, so project management at the management school falls within the operations and supply chain management group. We have some of the most highly cited scholars in the world in our field. So we're very fortunate that the materials that have been created by people that aren't just excellent teachers, but who are actively researching in this field. So we're very big on research connected teaching and making sure that you have, cutting edge knowledge for the industry. The University of Liverpool management staff have an international reputation for teaching and research, and the school provides a dedicated team of career specialists with international expertise. And our careers team and our careers service is available for, I think, up to 5 years after you graduate. So even if you're not ready to think about career opportunities right now, that service isn't just available to you for the 1 year that you study, it will be available for the full time. Okay, so I think I'll be passing on to Courtney now, just finally to say thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, I'll put my LinkedIn and email in the chat, so feel free to drop me a line. More than happy to have a conversation, and wish you all the very best with applications. All right, thanks, Courtney.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jennifer. So yes, my name is Courtney. I'm one of the admissions managers for the online programs, and what I'm going to do just now is just talk you through a little bit about the application journey and how you would be able to start the process, and also just a couple other bits of important information that we would like you to know about the application process and about the programs themselves. So if I could have the next slide, please. Brilliant. So if you would like to apply, you will need to complete an online application form. Everything is done online. The programs are also fully online with this department. So that means that you would submit the form and it'll ask you to provide some basic information. So your name, date of birth, an address, things like that. And we also need you to just state the program start date that you would like to apply for. The program start date is important because it just allows our advisors to know a little bit more about what your intentions are, what the time scale is, and the sort of things that we need to work with you on. As well as sort of these basic pieces of information, we do require you to just add in a little bit of detail about your background, both academic and professional, and that just helps our advisors gain a little bit of insight into who you are and how they can best support you in your application journey. The next sort of steps within this application form are, once you've filled out those very sort of basic questions at the start, we are asking you to provide certain supporting documents, and those supporting documents are as follows. So we'll need a valid ID. It does need to be a photographic ID, so it does have to have your face on it, and it also must have a date of birth on it. So if that means that you need to send the front and back of an ID card or something like that, please do make sure that you provide both sides. Otherwise, a passport is probably the preferred option, but we recognise that not everyone does have a valid passport at this time, so any ID document that you've got that's got your face and your date of birth on it can be accepted. Next, we do need an up-to-date CV with details about each of your roles and responsibilities, past and present, and that just gives us a better insight into your career thus far. We also need your educational certificates and any translations if that is applicable, as well as any professional certificates that you feel would support your application. It can come from anything, even if it's sort of a Google certificate that you think might be relevant, or if it is with a professional body that you would like to provide, please do send us over anything that you think would support your application. Additionally, you'll be asked for a personal statement of 300 to 500 words. On the application form itself, it's split into 3 separate boxes. And within each of those boxes, there's a question, and you just need to answer about 120 to 200 words, depending on how much you want to write. And it's things about your motivation for studying the programme, your experience and how that relates to the programme, if it does relate, and then just a little bit about your future ambition with this qualification and what you want to do with it in regards to your career. And finally, the last sort of main document that we require is proof of English language evidence for international applicants. Now, most international applicants do need to provide some kind of evidence. There is a small list of students or sort of countries that you can find on the website that will explain sort of who may be exempt from this. But you can obviously feel free to check that out on the website or request information from our advisors at any point. But we would more or less be looking for an IELTS academic test taken within the past 2 years, or something equivalent to that, such as a TOEFL or a Pearson test taken in the past 2 years. But if you don't have anything like that, we do have an online English test that you're able to sit with us if you don't have access. It is free, so you don't have to pay for anything for the online free English test. So you would just speak to your advisor and let them know that you're unable to provide a document that supports this one specific requirement, and they'll be able to set that up for you. Brilliant. So this is just a breakdown of what the actual application and admissions process looks like. So to start with, what you would tend to do is you'd inquire about a programme. Now, in signing up for this webinar, you have essentially inquired about a programme. So you may find that one of our advisors gets in touch with you, but otherwise you can submit a request for information via email, through our inquiries inbox, or you can do it through one of our contact us forms. You will then be assigned a personal admissions advisor, and that will be the same admissions advisor who works with you right from the very start of the process to the very end. They are there to offer guidance on programs. And as Jennifer explained, the project management program is a brilliant gateway program into a variety of fields. And as you've signed up for this webinar, I could assume that you may be interested in studying project management. However, obviously, you don't have to be too sure just yet. You can ask, you can inquire. We do offer 19 online programs, and within that list of programs, there are some specialists, some general programs. So if you don't yet have a fully formed idea of what you'd like to study, or you would like to find out a little bit more about any of the programs, including project management, please do get in touch with our advisors. They will be happy to help you understand these entry requirements for the program. They'll be able to give you some advice on sort of things relating to your career goals and see which sort of program may suit or maybe most appropriate for the experience that you currently have. Moving on to that, once you have asked your inquiries, obviously you can do this straight away. So you can apply straight away without inquiring initially. But if you do inquire initially, your next step would be to fill out that application form we've just spoken about. Once you've submitted that, that will then come straight through to our advisors. There is no cost to apply, so it's a free process, and it is very easy to follow. And once that's submitted, it will be assigned to one of our advisors if you submitted it directly, or you'll still work with that same advisor if you inquired earlier, and they'll be able to give you some advice on the documentation that you've provided. At this point, if you have forgotten any documents or you didn't submit them with your application, please don't worry. You can just email them over to your admissions advisor. If there is anything else that you think of, or during the process you happen to complete a program or some kind of qualification, again, please feel free to send over any additional documents that you haven't uploaded with that application form. And then your application will be reviewed. So your application will be reviewed initially by your admissions advisor. It's their job to ensure that all of your documents are suitable, that they're eligible, that they're valid, in date, etc. And then when your application is as strong as it possibly can be, it will then be reviewed by myself and as the admissions manager and my colleague Nicola. And then it will then be referred to one of our directors of study for the relevant programme. So Jennifer in this case with project management. And we would then be able to go through that sort of final review check just to see if you are eligible for the programme and just to ensure that all documents are correct and in order. And then comes the outcome. So you will be notified just after that review. We do like to sort of review applications as quickly as possible. So we don't want to keep people waiting for too long. So we should get back to you within a reasonable time to let you know whether you have been accepted to the programme, and if you have been, you will be issued with an offer letter, which just confirms your place and issues you with some information about the next steps. What happens as a next step is you will need to submit an online acceptance form. There's a link to that in the offer letter that you'll receive. And then you do need to make a depository payment to secure your place. This deposit covers the first month of study if you choose to pay on a monthly basis. So nothing further will be due until you've begun your studies and you're past that first month. Otherwise, if you choose to pay upfront, it will be due before that enrolment deadline, and the enrolment deadline tends to be the Thursday before a programme start date. So you do have right up until then to accept and to pay. Obviously, we do encourage you to do it as early as possible, just so that you've got enough time to prepare yourself and anything else that you might need to prepare just to start the programme. But you can do it right up until then. Next slide, please, and I'll go through a little bit more about some fees. Brilliant. So there are three stages to our programs. There's the postgraduate certificate stage, the postgraduate diploma stage, and then the full masters. That just means that it's essentially broken up into credits. So the postgraduate certificate is 60 credits, the diploma is 120, and then the Master of Science is 180. And that also then is indicative of the duration. So the postgraduate certificate will take you 10 months to complete, the diploma will take you 20 months, and the Master of Science will take you 30. All of our online programs are part-time. There is no way to complete them any faster than the indicative duration that is listed just there. So it is they're designed to be able to allow students to work as well as study, should that be what they wish to do. And then in terms of fees, at the moment, these are the fees set for the 2024-25 academic year. So this runs right up until July. And so the certificate is £5,623. The diploma is £11,246. And the Master of Science is £16,868. Now that is for the full duration. So for the Master of Science, for example, that's not 16,868 per year. That is 16,868 for the full 30 months of study, so those full sort of 2.5 years. Every sort of course can be paid for in monthly installments. It's available for every program, and that would just be that total fee divided equally by the number of months of study, so divided by 10 months, 20 months, and 30 months. We do just want to make you aware that our fees are subject to change. They are reviewed annually. So if you do wish to apply, for example, for the October intake, at this time, we're not able to issue you with an offer letter should you be successful, just because we do need to have that annual review still of those fees, but we will let you know as soon as we can. And those fees will be updated on the website as soon as we are aware of when that review has occurred. And just an additional point there, just that you can see that little asterisk down the bottom, it's just to let you know that all of our tuition fees are shown net of any applicable sales tax that is payable in your country of residence. So it's not to do with where you are from originally, it's to do with your current country of residence. But please do speak to our admissions advisors and they'll be able to inform you. There's not many countries that do have applicable sales tax. I think there's 3 at the moment. So it shouldn't cover too many people, but you can feel free to ask one of our admissions advisors and they will let you know what fees may be added and may be applicable to your overall fee. Brilliant. So at the moment we have regional scholarships of up to 20% that are available for some international students based on overseas eligible countries. That list of eligible sort of scholarship countries is available if you speak to one of our admissions advisors. They'll be able to tell you what your country of residence is eligible for in terms of scholarship. If you let them know, obviously, if you submit an application, they'll go based off of the country that you have selected for your application. But should that be incorrect, please do correct the admissions advisor and they'll be able to sort that. If at any point you move country during your studies, we would ask that you get in touch with the student support department so that they can correct that. But please note that may sort of have a difference on the fees that are due during the remainder of your studies. So it's obviously something you can discuss with the student support department if that does occur. We do also offer a 10% UK scholarship for students residing in the United Kingdom at the moment. That is only applicable to full master's degree, so it doesn't apply to PG Certs or PG Dips at the moment, but it is applicable to the full master's qualifications. And also at the moment, we do offer an executive scholarship of 15%. This is available for our January intake, and it's specific to the project management programme. But what we want you to understand is that these programs, or sorry, these scholarships, they can't all be used in conjunction. So you will get the highest of those available scholarships. If, for example, your regional scholarship is only 5%, but as there is an executive scholarship available, you will be issued with the executive scholarship of 15% instead. If you've got any questions about that, I do understand it can sound a little confusing when we're listing off all these numbers. So please do put any questions in the comments box, or feel free to get in touch with our inquiries team. I believe the email address will be at the end of this slideshow, so you can feel free to take a screenshot of that. But we can obviously go into sort of more details with you on a personal basis, on a one-to-one basis of what you may be eligible for in terms of funding. Additionally, we offer a 5% upfront discount if you pay the full fee upfront. That essentially means that it will be placed on top of any other scholarships as well. So you can get the 20% and the 5% discount sort of combined, so that the upfront payment can be used with any level of program, so the cert, the dip, or the full at MSc, and it can also be used in conjunction with any of those scholarships listed above. We do also additionally have an alumni discount of 10%, but again, that is similar to the other scholarships and it can't be used in conjunction with anything else. So if the 10% alumni discount is the greatest of the scholarships that you would be eligible for, then you could get it. But in this case, as we have an executive scholarship of 15% available, that wouldn't be applicable for the January intake, but it potentially could be for future intakes. So I know that's a lot of information, but again, please do get in touch with the admissions team. They will be able to talk you through these scholarships and what is available for you, rather than just us sort of giving this generic overview of what is potentially available. Next. Perfect. So these are the intakes that we have available in 2025 at the moment. So we have the 14th of January start date. That is the next available start date. And then following that, we have the 27th of May and the 7th of October. You are able to apply for all of these sort of intake dates at the moment. So don't be afraid to apply for October, even although it does seem quite far away. If you do want to be prepared and you want to apply now, we can accept those applications. But just as I said, because the fees haven't been confirmed for the 25-26 academic year, we're not yet able to issue you with an offer letter, but we should be able to sort of in springtime. And we hope that as soon as sort of we find that out, we will let you know. So if you do wish to apply just now, again, please feel free to do so, and we'll be happy to process it. But obviously, there is a bit more of a time crunch when it comes to January. So if you are thinking about the January intake, there's still plenty of time to apply, and we're more than happy to support your application sort of right up until the deadline. But obviously, in order for you to prepare yourself a little bit better, we do encourage you to just apply as soon as possible, and we'll be more than happy to help you. But if you do have any questions about anything sort of that I've spoken about with this admissions process, again, you can feel free to email if you don't want to ask the questions just now. There's an inquiries inbox that we receive all of our inquiries to, but otherwise please pop them in the little question and answer section here, and we can go through them just now. Brilliant. I think that might be me, Tom. If we move, there we go. Brilliant.
That's right. Thank you, Courtney, and also thank you, Jennifer, for taking the time to present today. We do hope you found that informative and that it's given you a better understanding of what it would be like to study the project management programme and study with the University of Liverpool online programmes. We do have time for a Q&A now, so if you do have any questions, please put them in the Q&A section and we'll do our best to answer them. We have had one already, which I'll come to you, Jennifer. Someone has asked, what's the difference between the in-person programme and the online programme?
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, really good question. And as I've mentioned before, the online programme very much mirrors the on-campus programme in terms of content. So it's developed by the same professors that deliver the on-campus programme. The real difference is just delivery. So the on-campus programme, you do have to attend and be in Liverpool for that full year. The university is legally required to monitor attendance at those sessions, and the sessions are live, synchronous sessions. We do often, well, most of the lectures are all recorded. Seminars typically not. So, you can catch up and watch it again, but you are expected to attend and attendance is monitored. Whereas I think the benefit of online is that it's the same content but delivered in a more flexible way. So whereas the on-campus one is synchronous and live, you have to be there in person at the lecture, the lecture casts are asynchronous. So that what that means is the content is pre-recorded and you can watch it in your own time. So it's great for those who want a more flexible approach to learning, those who want to access remotely, who don't want to come to UK and commit to being here for the full year. One thing that we've started doing since I took over as Director of Studies, when we have guest speakers, we will often try to ensure that the guest speakers that we have on campus are either recorded or that the online students can join in the session live, just to make it more inclusive and make sure that you get the benefits that some of the students on campus have in the online environment as well. So I hope that answers your question, Mike.
Thank you, Jennifer. Another question is, for the online programme, are there any specific attendance requirements that they might need to accommodate with work arrangements?
Tom, you might actually be able to answer this better than me, but from my understanding is that no, all of the lecture casts are asynchronous and it's for you to do in your own time. I believe that there are sessions that you can join in with the module facilitator, but it's not monitored. And certainly, I think you're expected to, of course, watch all of the content and have engaged with all of the content, and you will obviously have to do that in order to be able to pass the assessments. But it's absolutely not the same as on campus.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. And ties into the whole flexibility thing and work-life balance that we do offer with studying online. We've had another question is someone was just wondering when the deadline for the January 2025 intake is. They're hoping to apply soon, but just wanted to have a goal in mind. So I can answer that. The deadline for applications, I believe, is the 9th of January. So as Courtney said, the start date is the 14th, so just 5 days before. So you've still got about 6 weeks or so left to apply. So it's not panic stations just yet, don't worry. Thank you for that question. Another
Can
question
I
is,
just add really quickly to that?
sorry, go on, Courtney.
Just as a the deadline is the 9th. However, that is also the enrolment deadline date. So if you submit your application on the 9th, you must be in a position to pay and accept on the 9th as well. There is no wiggle room. That is the very last day that we can enroll someone, because if we don't enroll you on the 9th, you don't get your login details for the start date. So then we delay your start. So please, to make our lives a little bit easier and your own, if you can apply even just at the very start of that week. It gives us 3 or 4 days to process your application, and it also gives you 3 or 4 days extra to just prepare those funds and to get yourself together to start the next week. You can apply on the 9th, so please, no, me saying please, it's not to put you off, but it does just provide you that little bit of extra time to prepare yourself for it, okay?
Thank you, Courtney. No, that's really, really good to know. I wasn't fully aware of that, so yeah, good that you jumped in there. Thank you. Another question is, will online students have a graduation ceremony?
Absolutely, absolutely you do. And you can come and attend in person. And actually this past year, we've had special online program gathering celebration event. Tom, I know you were at the last one that we had, which was great because it gives everyone an opportunity who have been, speaking remotely to actually get together in person ahead of the ceremony, so that when you actually go to the ceremony, you've actually met the people that you've been studying with. So that I think was a really nice initiative that the management school launched last year, which is going to be continued for this coming academic year. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. And yeah, I was there just a few months ago, and it's a really good day. And like Jennifer said, great to be able to meet people that you've been studying online with, and everything as well. Someone's asked, is the recording available to us? For the webinar, yes. We are recording this and it will be sent out in probably around a week or so. So do keep an eye out for that if you want to watch it back. But again, if you do have any questions in the meantime, feel free to get in touch with our admissions team. You can find their details on the website, and also in this slide is the URL if you want to visit that too. Yeah, another question we've had is, will the degree certificate mention online study at all?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, perfect.
There's absolutely no difference. It's a master's in project management from the University of Liverpool. It doesn't matter whether you've studied online or in campus. It's the same degree that is awarded, and it's both the on-campus and the online are Association for Project Management accredited. So we have the dual, accreditation for both versions of the program.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Another question we've had here is, how would you compare the course content at Liverpool versus the content at another university in the UK or other schools globally? They are evaluating many different programs at this time. They have also caveated it with, they're not sure if it's an appropriate question. So if you're not able to answer them, that's fine.
Well, I'll maybe give you a slightly inappropriate answer in that I think obviously our content is better than our competitors. As I mentioned before, we really do have experts in the field of lots of different aspects of project management that have developed these course materials, and it is in line with the Association for Project Management's core competencies, which, in their opinion and also ours, we share this, leads to the creation of really well-rounded project project managers that are then in a fantastic position to gain employment in the jobs market. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We've had some really, really great success stories over the past, couple of years since I've been Director of Studies and involved with the programme. Students that have secured roles at places like Jaguar Land Rover, Balfour Beatty, a big construction company working on massive infrastructure projects in the UK, all sorts. We've had people go into maritime and shipping as project managers in those fields. So quite varied. People have gone for, more United Utilities, people have gone into creative fields. So I think I'm very proud of the programme. I think it puts you in a great position for the jobs market. So I know I'm a bit biased, but I do think our programme is highly competitive, and there's not really an official QS rankings for project management, but there is the EduRank ranking, and we're in the top 30 schools in the UK for project management, and that includes some really, competitive schools like Cranfield, which is a government-specific project management thing, and we've gone up in the last couple of years, and we're going to keep on going up, if anything to do with me. So I think I think our programme is very, very competitive. And it also, at the school, we really take continuous improvement very seriously. So making sure that it is always at that forefront of what the industry demands. My background is industry, so I'm very focused on making sure that we're in constant conversation with industry to make sure that our content reflects what the industry demands.
Thank you, Jennifer, and I hope, Mike, that was an encouraging answer for you. Yeah. Another question we've had is, are there different entry routes for the course? I suppose that would be whether it's academic or work experience types. I'm not sure if Jennifer or Courtney, you want to take that answer.
Probably Courtney, is that?
Yeah, I can take that from an admissions perspective. So yes, we do have two pathways. We most commonly probably use the sort of academic pathway, I would say, for most of the programs. But project management is a really interesting program because we do get a lot of applicants who come in without potential sort of relevant academic qualifications, but who do have a very established career in project management and who now want to gain that academic qualification. So of course we do want to see your application. Don't panic if you go to fill out the application form and it looks like they're looking for all of these academic qualifications and you don't have any. That's not a problem. We will look at your CV. We just want that to be as thorough as possible. So please fill out your CV and take that time to just write down all of the responsibilities in your job roles, because we know that, project management is intertwined with a lot of different job roles and different job titles. So please do, take the time to also then put that in your personal statement. It's really important to explain to us, to give us a bit of background. You are coming to us as a stranger. We want to know that little bit more about you when you do submit the application. So please don't worry if you don't have those sort of really obvious academic qualifications. We would love to see your application if you're applying through the work experience route. But equally, on the other hand, if you do have experience in academics in any form, whether it be a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a postgraduate qualification, a PhD, etc., we would also love to see your application there. So we do have those two routes.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Courtney, and also thank you, Jennifer. That is all we've got time for today. Thank you again, everyone, for attending.
I'm sorry, I noticed there is one more question that has not been answered. Do we have time to do that just quickly?
Yes, sorry, which question is that?
There was a question, I thought you will be taking us on project management. I don't know if that just means a little bit more of an overview of exactly what project management is, so I can give a very brief definition if we have time.
Yes, if they're able to kind of expand on what they meant, then yeah, we can.
Yeah, so essentially, what is a project? A project isn't business as usual. So it's something which has a very definitive purpose and a very clear end date, typically with key milestones along the way. So what project management is that sort of management of everything from project initiation and scoping through to execution, monitoring and control, and then the closure of projects. So that is effectively what it is. And as I've mentioned, the different modules feed into those different aspects. So things like risk management, you need to be doing right up front at the start of the project, but then all the way through. Of course, things like financial management. But it's typically a set piece of work that has a limited amount of resource, whether that be time, human resources, money. So that's essentially what project management is in a nutshell. I've put my details in the chat, not the Q&A, the chat. So if you have any more questions, please do let me know.
Thank you, Jennifer. Hopefully that's answered their question. We do just have one more quickly. This person saw on the university website that there is the Management School Excellence Scholarship. Is that only available for those studying on campus, or is it also available to those studying online? I suppose that's a question for you, Courtney.
Yeah, so this specific excellence scholarship is not available online. We do have the 15% program scholarship, which you will find on the website under the online programs. So if you are looking to study online, I would recommend that you find the little sort of website page. It is just the you can find them in the both of those sort of websites that are linked on this contact page just now. If you navigate to them, you'll be able to find a little bit more out about what specifically is eligible or sort of exclusive to the online programs and which is exclusive to campus. All of the online programs on the website do have a little online bracket next to it. So when you're looking for them, you'll be able to find which ones are online and it'll show there.
Perfect, thank you. So I've just copied and pasted Jennifer's email and the link to her LinkedIn to everyone. So hopefully that's appearing for everyone now. I can also send the details in the recording once that's ready in the email that'll go with that. But yeah, that is all we've got time for today. Thank you again, Courtney and Jennifer, for taking the time to join us today. Like I said, it's been recorded and you'll receive that within a week or so. And yeah, we do hope that this has been really interesting for you and that it is making you consider applying with us. And we do hope to see you joining us on your studying experience soon. Yeah, thank you again and goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Courtney.
Bye.
Everyone, thank you.
Take care.